What's up guys, this is Slot Player and today I will tell you which nations are crazy about gambling and what they like to play. So, who likes to gamble more, Asians or Europeans, or somebody else? Who gambles for fun and who would lose everything they have? Who likes to play roulette and who plays strange games that you never heard of? So, buckle up, we have a lift off.
Lift off.
We start with the fifth position in which are Greeks. They say that the ancient Greeks were the first civilization to gamble, and it seems that their modern descendants inherited the gambling genes. Some of the best known personalities from the American gambling scene were Greeks. For example, famous Nick the Greek, but also certain Archie Karas, who is the owner of the longest documented winning streak in the history. Apparently back in '92, Archie borrowed $10,000 from a loan shark, and from that he won $40 million in 3 years playing poker and dice, only to lose everything back in 3 weeks. I'm telling you, Greeks are crazy about gambling. Anyways, our Archie was caught cheating by marking cards on blackjack in 2013. He was found guilty of that and then awarded 3 years on probation. So, learn something from Archie and only gamble with the money you can afford to lose. In the fourth place are the Australians. Australia has the highest per capita spending on gambling in the world, more than $1,000 per year. And that mostly goes on slot machines, which they call pokies. Now, the thing is that the pokies are not found only in casinos, but all over the place, in restaurants, bars, hotels, and where not. I guess there are more pokies around than the kangaroos. It's no wonder that the Australians came up with this concept of slot machines that have, 500 lines and you can bet 1 cent on each one. But most of the slots all over the world are working on that principle now. Over 80% of Australians gamble one way or the other, whether that's betting on sports, playing poker or pokies. One more thing. Australians are crazy about, believe it or not, bingo. So they would have placed even higher if they played a bit cooler games like the next nation on our list, Japanese. So Japanese are in the third position. They like to play baccarat and other casino games, but the main reason they are placed this high is, listen to this, pachinko. You might be wondering what is exactly pachinko. Here is the story. In Japan, almost all forms of gambling are forbidden, but not pachinko. It is some kind of hybrid between slot machine, pinball and arcade game. For the inserted money, players get certain number of steel balls. They seem to me more like ball bearings. Usually one bearing costs 4 Japanese yens. Then the balls are launched from the bottom to the top, and on their way down they hit all kinds of obstacles to make them fall randomly. If they fall into certain holes, then you get more of those ball bearings. There are also special holes that pay some kind of jackpots, plus there are video reels or games in the background which look like the slot machine. So the idea is to finish the game with more ball bearings in possession than what you started with. Try to imagine the sounds of millions of steel balls bouncing around the machines. Actually, no need to imagine, listen to this. Now, if you hit big, it takes a trolley to cash out all the balls. But at the cash desk, they cannot issue money for the balls. It's forbidden by the law. But Japanese wouldn't be Japanese if they didn't find a way how to avoid the law. So at the cash desk, in exchange for the balls, players get some kind of prizes, like potato chips or bottles of wine. The most valuable are some kind of mini gold bars that look like Nintendo cartridges. Then you can change these prizes for the money in a shop just across the pachinko hall, usually owned by the same company. Geniuses, right? Now I will tell you why Japanese are in the third position, regardless how weird pachinko might seem. Pachinko industry has an income of $200 billion per year. We don't know exactly how many ball bearings organizers keep from that amount, but the estimate is between 8 and 50%, depending on the location. Just for comparison, Vegas makes $2 billion per year from gambling, so try to compare. We are now moving to the second place, taken by who else but the Americans. Homeland of Las Vegas, which is the synonym for gambling and other types of entertainment, couldn't miss to be placed in the top 5. The only question was how high will it rank. I guess everybody knows the story of a wise guy, Bugsy Siegel, and how the charitable organization he belonged to developed gambling business in Vegas. Americans play all kinds of games, but the favorite ones are blackjack and slot machines. We could say there are all kinds of players, but most play for fun and entertainment, but it doesn't hurt if they get lucky at the same time. Las Vegas gambling revenue percentage has been dropping in the recent years, but at the same time income from restaurants, hotel rooms, shows and other entertainment has been on the rise. All of those have been in service of gambling in the past. One of the reasons is that the casinos are now available all across the states because Native Americans have been permitted to open casinos on their lands. So the average American does not have to travel to Vegas to fulfill his gambling cravings, but rather can do it locally much closer to home. Before I tell you who is the top nation, a few honorable mentions. Israelis are crazy about gambling, even though there are no legal casinos in Israel. But there are illegal ones and Israelis still play. British have a lot of casinos, strong gambling culture and have just missed out on the rankings. French need to be mentioned because they surround Monte Carlo. In the past they have been all about the glamour, but today they prefer to play slot machines. Here we go. The number one craziest nation about gambling are the Chinese. So, not only that some of the Chinese like eating all kind of crazy stuff like bats, scorpions, insects and so on, Chinese also love to gamble. They will not play that much on roulette or slot machines, do not mind spending some time on poker or blackjack, but the game they really like is baccarat. They can play it all day and night, all until 6 in the morning, then leave for a quick nap and return to the casino after 3 hours for another all-day session. Chinese like to play in groups, and there is always an alpha male that leads the way. Usually it is the one with the most money. Then the alpha male bets first and everybody else follows and bets the same. I guess they think that who has the most money is the best player too. Chinese do not get angry if they lose. They think of it as if they fought a dragon and lost. And there is no shame in losing to a dragon. So, if any of those that lost are coming from the working class, they will work all year and save the money just to be able to fight the dragon again. In Chinese, baccarat is called pai jia le, which means everybody's happy. That's how much they love the game. Now is the time to show a few numbers about gambling in China. Macau is the only city where they can legally gamble because of its special status within China. Macau has made from gambling in 2019 over $36 billion. For comparison, as we said, Las Vegas makes about $2 billion from gambling and all other venues like hotel rooms make up the rest up to the $6 million total. From the $36 billion that Macau made, large part of it comes from baccarat. So, Chinese are the nation craziest for gambling, in spite of the fact there is no legal gambling in mainland China. Guys, next video will be about counting cards on blackjack, so press the subscribe button if you are interested. If you play only the money you can afford to lose and never chase your losses. That's it for today. Slot Player over and out.